88 corporate leaders endorse Harris in new letter, including CEOs of Yelp, Box. London Borough. 88 corporate leaders endorse Harris in new letter, including CEOs of Yelp, Box. London Borough threatens to clear Lime hire cycles from streets over abandoned e-bikes. Havoc. South Korea summit to target blueprint for using AI in the military, as 60 countries endorse blueprint for AI use in military, where China opts out. Former Samsung executives arrested for allegedly stealing tech for China. MariaDB goes private with new CEO, as K1 closes acquisition. Facebook admits to scraping every Australian adult user's public photos and posts to train AI, with no opt-out option. Taylor Swift has endorsed Kamala Harris for president. Donald Trump says Taylor Swift will pay a price for endorsing Kamala Harris. Elon Musk breaks debate silence with bizarre offer to impregnate Taylor Swift, and reportedly, Taylor Swift drove nearly 338K people to vote.gov with Kamala Harris endorsement post. Nancy Pelosi suggests 30% of Republicans are sexist, racist, homophobic. Utah social media restrictions likely violate First Amendment, judge rules, as Utah social media law requiring age verification blocked by judge. Americans use record 100 trillion megabytes of wireless data in 2023. Apple's Fuzzy Feelings wins Primetime Commercial Emmy Award. Payments in Singapore with stablecoins rise to almost $1 billion. Biden aides working on proposal for U.S. sovereign wealth fund. Blockchain music startup Tune.fm raises $50 million from global emerging markets. Google teams with the Internet Archive to revive cache feature. Adobe is entering the AI video space with new Firefly video model. In the U.S., Senate leaders ask FTC to investigate AI content summaries as anti-competitive. Nielsen announced, over 67 million viewers tune in for ABC News Harris vs. Trump debate. ABC debate moderators live fact-check Trump's false claims from the stage, and Trump demands ABC be shut down for daring to fact-check debate. Former Vice President Dick Cheney says he will vote for Harris. Liz Cheney calls Trump a catastrophe and urges Republicans to vote for Harris, and former President George W. Bush has no plans to endorse in the election. Trump wants 25th Amendment changed to impeach vice presidents. At least 2 Saudi officials may have deliberately assisted 9/11 hijackers, new evidence suggests. Pakistani national charged for plotting terrorist attack in New York City in support of ISIS, on or around October 7, 2024. Israel claims to offer Hamas leader Sinwar safe passage out of Gaza, in return for hostage release. Ukraine's Kursk offensive has triggered doubts among Russian elite, spy chiefs say. Biden says, ending ban on Ukraine's use of long-range weapons being worked out. Russian ship captured in satellite image, delivering ballistic missiles from Iran. Leader of Nigeria's Labor Federation arrested, union says. China's disappeared foreign minister demoted to low-level publishing job, say former U.S. officials. Japanese firms sour on China after long years of brushing off risks. Researchers warn methane emissions, rising faster than ever. Father's diet before conception can impact children's metabolic health, study finds. China to raise retirement age to avert pensions crisis. NBC pulls back Tonight Show to 4 nights per week. World's first aerospike engine aircraft to take to the skies in September. 4 months ago, world first aerospike rocket flight test ends in disaster. Elderly Romanian woman used amber nugget worth over $1 million as a doorstop for decades. COVID lockdowns prematurely aged girls' brains more than boys, study suggests. In the U.S., tube tying rose after Roe v. Wade was overturned, especially in states that ban abortion, study shows. Chemicals in common personal care products like soap and makeup could cause girls to start puberty early. OpenAI fundraising set to vault startup's valuation to $150 billion. Google's AI note-taking app Notebook LM can now explain complex topics to you out loud. New Pixel acoustic attack leaks secrets from LCD screen noise. Tor node operators raided by German police. Philadelphia Eagles deny endorsing Kamala Harris after fake ads pop up around Philly. The 2024-25 edition of the UEFA Champions League will follow a new format. 36 clubs will participate in the Champions League phase. Teams will play 8 matches in the new league phase. Dodgers Shohei Ohtani inks global trading card deal with Topps. In the U.S., private equity firms can now own shares of NFL teams. Cristiano Ronaldo to be honored as UEFA Champions League all-time top scorer. Jason and Travis Kelce score $100 million deal with Amazon for their New Heights podcast. Dallas Cowboys are first sports team to surpass $10 billion in value. Babe Ruth called shot Yankees jersey fetches record $24 million. Environmental stress reduces shark residency to coral reefs. Elon Musk now controls 2/3 of all active satellites. Earthquakes can trigger quartz into forming giant gold nuggets, study finds. Micron unveils 36 GB, high-capacity version of ultra-fast memory useful for AI development. Blue Sky's total number of users has finally exceeded 9 million, and video posting function will be released soon. Replit releases Replit Agent, an AI that allows people with no knowledge to create apps simply by entering prompts. A diagram of a thermonuclear warhead, classified as a top national secret, was discovered in a logo image. NVIDIA's AI GPUs are cheaper to rent in China than in the US, $6 per hour for 8 NVIDIA A100 GPUs. White men who have been mistreated at work are more likely to notice and report harassment, claims a new research. Musk denies report his XAI and talks over Tesla revenue. Honor's latest devices use AI to try to reverse nearsightedness. Kaspersky offloads U.S. antivirus customers to Pango Group. Significant link found between heme iron, found in red meat and other animal products, and type 2 diabetes risk. Mobile phones are not linked to brain cancer according to a major review of 28 years of research. The brain compresses and organizes the events of the day into less than 1 second while sleeping. Microsoft to announce next phase of Copilot on September 16th. Firefox now lets you access your favorite AI chatbot without switching tabs. China's collapsing EV startups leave owners stranded. iPhone SE 4 to complete Apple's switch to OLED across iPhone lineup. Quad claims, next year's upgrade to 12 GB RAM will be limited to iPhone 17 Pro Max. Meta's large language model Llama reaches 350 million downloads. Spintronics enables energy harvesting from weak radio waves used in wireless communication. City of Columbus sues man after he discloses severity of ransomware attack. AnandTech, mainstay of computer hardware reviews, closes after 27 years. Child sexual abuse content was found in the dataset LAON5B, which is also used for Stable Diffusion, and the developer released ReLAON5B, which removed the links. Astronomers witness dark matter go rogue in epic galaxy cluster collision. 1930s famine continued to affect Ukrainian health 7 decades later. To kill mammoths in the Ice Age, people use planted pikes, not throwing spears, researchers say. Grandparents' educational attainment is associated with grandchildren's epigenetic-based age acceleration in the National Growth and Health Study. Venezuelan news agency turns to AI-generated newscasts to protect journalists. Blake Lively's haircare line is finally here after 7 years in the making. Doesn't include conditioner. Microsoft-led team achieves record for reliable 12 logical qubits in quantum computing. China-led team seeking elusive quantum of gravity finds first evidence of particles behaving like gravitons, the particle that gives rise to gravity. Japan to begin developing zettaflop-scale supercomputer in 2025. Roblox builds open-source 3D AI model, adds tech for faster game loading. Shailene Woodley to star as Janis Joplin in biopic backed by California tax credit. Research shows that campaigns promoting video content subscriptions by saying piracy is a crime, so watch it legally, are counterproductive. NASA releases first photo of 860-square-foot solar sail in orbit. Hundreds of microorganisms, including pathogens, discovered 3,000 meters above Japan. Canada's canola pile hits 4-year high, as China probes dumping. Goldman says global rate-cutting cycle bodes well for US dollar. Larry Ellison's fortune grows $14 billion overnight, making him the 7th richest person on Earth. Unicode version 16.0 released with new emojis, faces with bags under the eyes, hieroglyphs, arrows added, information added to the Japanese character information infrastructure, and more. Cloudflare announces that it has reduced CPU usage by 1% for processes that run 35 million times per second by optimizing its code. Apple must pay Ireland more than $14 billion in back taxes, court rules. An antibody discovered at UT Austin could protect against all COVID variants. Outdoor nighttime light exposure. The light pollution is associated with Alzheimer's disease. Google loses fight against $2.7 billion U antitrust fine. OpenAI's most advanced AI model Strawberry to launch earlier than planned. AG Ferguson urges Congress to require warning labels on social media. Google Illuminate generates audio with 2 AI-generated voices in conversation, discussing the key points of select papers. Data claims self-driving cars are safer than human drivers. In the U.S., leaders of transnational terrorist group charged with soliciting hate crimes, soliciting the murder of federal officials, and conspiring to provide material support to terrorists, as 2 white supremacists tried to spark race war by soliciting murder and hate crimes on Telegram, federal authorities say. Paris court charges couple in Iranian plot to kill Jews and Israelis. Kim Jong-un vows to increase nuclear weapons exponentially. Investor enthusiasm lags for Apple's AI-powered iPhone 16 series debut. iOS 18, iPadOS 18, watchOS 11, and macOS Sequoia release date set for September 16 and 17, 2024, changing per territories. iPhone 16 Pro and iPhone 16 Pro Max are now available, equipped with a 18 Pro and iPhone's largest display ever. The AirPods Pro 2 will soon double as hearing aids. Apple announces AirPods 4 and 2 new models with H2 chip, USB-C, improved audio. Huawei launches $2,800 trifold phone hours after Apple debuts iPhone 16, and reportedly, Huawei racks up 3 million pre-orders for Mate XT trifold phone before Apple's iPhone 16 reveal. Rembrandt painting found in main attic fetches $1.4 million at auction. Britain stops export of World War II code-breaker Alan Turing's wartime papers. Compass possibly belonging to Nicholas Copernicus unearthed at Frombork Cathedral Gardens. In India, Delhi government imposes complete firecracker ban until January 1 to combat air pollution. India plans to use LNG for third of truck fleet, in blow to diesel. Global study shows that most cities receive more rainfall than surrounding rural areas. BYD lifts annual sales target to 4 million EVs, plug-in hybrids. Volkswagen's $5 billion deal with Rivian leaves software arm carried workers frustrated. CEO left out, claimed in a report. India's auto industry faces major slump as 780,000 cars remain unsold. Malaysia central banker sees rate hold in 2024 with growth at 5%. Bank of Japan may hike rates by year-end, says former FSA senior official. Yellen says U.S. economy remains solid, on path to soft landing with no meaningful layoffs. HSBC considers cost-cutting merger of commercial and investment banking units. Goldman Sachs to post $400 million hit to third-quarter results, as it unwinds consumer business. Consumers unwilling to pay up for sustainable food, Brazilian food giant JBS says. China's consumer prices rise amid weather extremes and factory costs decline. Also, China's August exports grow a robust 8.7%, beating forecasts while imports soften. Tesla and SpaceX's Elon Musk on track to become world's first trillionaire by 2027, claimed in a report. Musk says SpaceX to launch first uncrewed starships to Mars in 2 years. Siemens Mobility to establish America's first high-speed rail production facility in Horseheads, New York. NHTSA proposes new pedestrian head impact safety standards, as U.S. seeks new pedestrian safety rules aimed at increasingly massive SUVs and pickup trucks. Budget airline was offers unlimited flights for €499 a year. Tropical storm Francine forms in Gulf of Mexico, expected to hit Louisiana as hurricane. Super Typhoon Yagi strikes South China's Hainan, leaving 4 dead, 95 injured. As Japan's deadly summer heat claims 252 lives in Tokyo, experts warn of long-term threat. Sanai Takaichi, first female candidate to join LDP presidency race in Japan. Xi Jinping welcomes Spanish PM Sanchez as both sides seek to boost crucial ties. Latvian authorities identify drone crash as Russian Shahid kamikaze drone. Stockholm Arlanda Airport temporarily closed after mysterious drone sightings. Ukraine summons Iranian diplomat as Tehran denies missile transfer to Russia. Amazon is allowing Audible narrators to clone themselves with AI. Legal battle over Peter Cushing's image in Star Wars to go to trial, judge rules. Variety comments as if Taylor Swift doesn't endorse Kamala Harris, she'd be entering a new era. The Goonies reportedly returning for sequel with original cast. Beyoncé's Cowboy Carter, shut out of Country Music Award nominations. Fyre Festival 2 announced with $1.1 million ticket package option. Donald Trump vows bloody deportation of illegal immigrants, threatens jail for those who oppose his presidential bid. Trial begins over Trump train encounter with 2020 Biden campaign bus. In the U.S., retired military leaders defend Harris while placing blame on Trump for Afghanistan withdrawal in letter. Sony's PS5 controllers get a $5 increase. Apple brings sleep apnea detection to the Watch Series 10. MIT proposes personhood credentials. Amazon rejects plea to stop selling taxi roof signs as cab scam spreads across Canada. Bill Gates-backed startup creates butter from thin air. Study finds faces evolve to match names over time. Princess Kate has finished chemotherapy and says she is focused on staying cancer-free. Viking Age toy carved from volcanic rock discovered in Iceland. The Crow reboot bombs with critics, fails to soar after rotten score debut. In South Africa, SABC now requiring TV licenses for smartwatches. 9 months ago, SABC now demanding TV license fees for computers, laptops. Internet replaces TV as UK's most popular news source for first time. Deputy PM Mir Grigorian announces official start of Armenia and EU visa liberalization negotiations. Russia expects to launch visa-free regime with Saudi Arabia and Malaysia in 2025. Saudi Arabia open to petro-yuan. Closer China ties, minister says. Reportedly, America is pumping so much oil that gas could be below $3 by Thanksgiving. ECB's chief, Draghi demands €800 billion cash boost to stem Europe's rapid decline. And buy your guns, missiles and tanks at home, Draghi tells EU countries. France asks EU to let it delay submitting budget deficit plan, La Tribune reports. Body Roundness Index (BRI) has been proposed as a non-invasive screening tool for mortality risk estimation, an innovative concept that could be incorporated into public health practice, aiming to measure obesity. YouTube will begin limiting access to fitness videos for European teens, as YouTube to restrict teenagers' exposure to videos about weight and fitness. TSMC's $65 billion Arizona facility can now match Taiwan production yields according to early trials. AMD announces unified UDNA GPU architecture, bringing RDNA and CDNA together to take on NVIDIA's CUDA ecosystem. The first nuclear clock will test if fundamental constants change. In the U.S. Department of Justice claims Google has trifecta of monopolies on day one of ad tech trial. Oracle and Amazon Web Services Incorporated (AWS) announced the launch of Oracle Database at AWS, a new offering that allows customers to access Oracle Autonomous Database on dedicated infrastructure and Oracle Exadata database service within AWS. Korea scraps plan to regulate Google, Apple, Kakao as monopolies, drawing criticism 3 months ago. Kakao founder Kim Byung-soo arrested for SM Entertainment stock manipulation. During IGCF 2024, it has been claimed, deepfakes will cost the world over $10 trillion by 2025. Deepfake pornography ring linked to South Korean university uncovered after years-long sting, and reports of deepfakes at Korean schools surged to 434 in span of 2 weeks. Scammers create Tim Cook deepfake amid iPhone 16 livestream for crypto fraud. Co-host to shut down at end of 2024. Skype founders VC firm raises $1.24 billion to back European tech startups. Tether ventures into agriculture with $100 million investment in South America's Atacoa Grow. Police deny claims of Haitian immigrants eating pets in Ohio, which is spread by J.D. Vance and right-wing commentators. French far-right leader Bardella allegedly faked documents to avoid EU funds embezzlement charges. Canadian fashion mogul Peter Nygard sentenced to 11 years in prison for sexual assaults. Israel warns Palestinian village will be demolished if residents refuse to relocate. New UNHCR report reveals over 7 million refugee children out of school. Cats grieve deaths of fellow companion animals, study finds. The Ocean Cleanup announces that operations demonstrate that the elimination of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch can be done at today's level of performance in 10 years at a cost of $7.5 billion. Japan starts removing melted nuclear fuel at bottom of Fukushima. Windcatcher. 40 megawatts wall of wind turbines floating farm gets design approval. Ukraine restricts Russian POS phone privileges in response to executions of Ukrainians. Google bans verification of accounts using Russian phone numbers. Ukrainian official urges Toronto Film Fest to cancel documentary on Russian soldiers. Afghanistan's London embassy to close after its diplomats were disowned by the Taliban. In Iraq, Shia alliance pressures PM al-Sudani to resign over wiretapping scandal. 20 days ago, wiretapping network busted at Iraqi PM's office. No spying took place by employees of Iraqi Prime Minister's office, said by advisor. Brazil changes its position and joins the complaint against Ortega at the UN. Sweden sees skin cancer decline in under 50s for first time, as per a study. Human brains create 3 copies of every memory we make. Higher BPA levels in pregnant mothers linked to autism in sons. HBO's Harry Potter series opens casting call for Harry, Ron and Hermione, with "We are committed to inclusive, diverse casting." Shogun shatters Emmy records with historic 14 wins at Creative Arts Awards. James Earl Jones, renowned actor and voice of Darth Vader, dies at 93. Michael Saylor says Republicans have more progressive view on crypto, Democrats drifting to the middle. MicroStrategy's Michael Saylor predicts Bitcoin price will rise to $13 million. 6 months ago it had been reported as, MicroStrategy holds 1% of total Bitcoin supply after $600 million purchase. Americans were scammed out of $5.6 billion in 2023 as crypto fraud losses spiked 45%. SEC warns of Bitcoin and Ether ETF risks, labels BTC, ETH highly speculative investments. Big Lots files for bankruptcy protection, sells to private equity firm as it promises to keep offering extreme bargains. James Bond's Aston Martin Vanquish set to fetch up to £70,000. Boeing offers 25% pay rise to avoid strike. And Boeing delays supplier's 737 MAX output goal by 6 months, sources say. Germany announces temporary border checks at all land borders. Priceless artifacts looted and smuggled out from Sudan's National Museum. In the U.S., law enforcement leans on 3D printer industry to help thwart machine gun conversion devices. 4 days ago, child arrested in potential 3D printed gun operation on Detroit's east side. Peaches grown in Fukushima nuclear disaster zone go on sale at Harrods. Lost Crusader altar found in Jerusalem. A graffiti from the 6th century BC that reveals a lost temple of the Acropolis of Athens. First halal food lunches served at elementary, junior high schools in 2 East Japan towns. Beloved Keith Haring mural in Manhattan faces demolition. Johnny Cash set to become first musician to get a statue in Statuary Hall at U.S. Capitol. Wall Street Journal reports that Iraqi banks use U.S.-created system to funnel funds to Iran. Reportedly, Milei made the biggest adjustment so far in at least 65 years. OPEC Plus postpones oil production hike in effort to reverse price slump. Syria says Israeli strikes kill 18 people in a large-scale attack. Bangladeshi Health Ministry reports death toll from summer riots at more than 630 people. In South Korea, in 2023 61.3 billion won worth of drug smuggling was detected, 18% increase from a year ago. Data show individuals with type 2 diabetes are at higher risk of asthma, and vice versa. Trojan condoms contain toxic forever chemicals linked to cancer, lawsuit claims. Neuralink's first patient names his brain chip, learns new languages. Smoking before the age of 18 increases the risk of developing respiratory symptoms in your 20s, study finds. New study finds increase in exposures to synthetic THC among young children, teens, and adults. In Germany, drug commissioner calls for special shops for cigarette sales. 1 in 10 people with dementia experience suicidal thoughts, find study. Air pollution exposure in infancy may limit economic mobility in adulthood. Scientists invent nanorobots that can repair brain aneurysms. In Russia, first ever Leo Tolstoy Peace Prize awarded to African Union. De Gaulle's grandson tells State Duma speaker about plans to move to Russia. 1 year ago, Charles de Gaulle's pro-Kremlin grandson says he wants Russian citizenship. Ukraine peace proposals fail to protect Russian speakers, says Lavrov. New Android spy agent campaign steals crypto credentials via image recognition. New Rambo attack uses RAM radio signals to steal data from air-gapped networks. as researchers snoop data from air-gapped PCs' RAM sticks by monitoring EM radiation from 23 feet away. U.S. offers $10 million for info on Russian cadet Blizzard hackers behind major attacks. Chinese APT group Mustang Panda exploits Visual Studio Code in Southeast Asian cyber attacks. Thai drone targets military and satellite industries in Taiwan. Blind Eagle targets Colombian insurance sector with customized Quasar RAT. Progress software issues patch for vulnerability in Loadmaster and MT Hypervisor. In payment gateway Slim CD data breach, 1.7 million users impacted. Australia to ban children as old as 16 from TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, others. First 90 minutes of Silent Hill 2 remake appear online. Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen leakers face legal action from U.S. court for the first time. Kremlin denies interview request from freed U.S. journalist Evan Gershkovich. $35 million Monet will lead Christie's first sale at New Asia HQ. Mark Zuckerberg shares Daniel Arsham's sculpture of his wife. U.S. and Chinese troops taking part in Joint Formosa, former name for the Taiwan island, exercise in Brazil for first time, and China to send troops to Brazil for first time for military exercises. Chinese-U.S. theater commanders talk for first time since 2022 row over Pelosi-Taiwan trip. Taiwan firms less worried about possible U.S. and China war, compared with 2022. SCMP comments as, the U.S. and China must avoid dropping a silicon curtain. Bill restricting U.S. contracts with Chinese biotech firms among first to pass House in China week. German warships to cross Taiwan Strait for first time in 22 years, defying Beijing's warnings. Coinbase must face shareholder lawsuit over regulator risk concerns, judge rules. Ether.fi to launch Visa Cash Card on Scroll Network. In Japan, a TEPCO firm uses surplus green energy to mine bitcoins. iOS 18.1 with Apple Intelligence launches in October. More languages rolling out over time. New open-source AI leader reflection 70BS performance questioned. Accused of fraud. Miami-based AI bookkeeping startup finally has raised another big round, with $200 million in equity and debt. Biomethane produced from maize grown on peat emits more CO2 than natural gas. Efficient lithium extraction from salt lakes using a carbon nitride membrane. 3 new ancestors added to Tasmanian tiger's storyline. AI deciphers ancient Babylonian texts and finds beautiful